If you are here right now, something in your life has been quietly preparing you for this moment. Not in a dramatic way, not with signs or symbols, in a much simpler way, through the small tensions you kept ignoring, through the quiet thoughts that kept returning at the end of the day, through that strange inner pull that whispered that something in your life does not match who you are becoming. You did not force this moment. You arrived at it. Most people think they find messages like this by accident, but here is the truth. You reach them when your inner world becomes too full to stay the same. When something inside you begins to push against the old version of yourself. When the gap between what you feel and what you live becomes too wide to carry without breaking. You know that feeling. The pressure that builds in silence. The restlessness that shows up for no reason. The sense that something is shifting, even though you cannot point to anything specific. You think you are just tired. But actually, you are outgrowing the life that once made sense. You think you are losing clarity. But actually, your mind is clearing space for a different kind of awareness. There is a quiet moment in every human life when the mind stops trying to explain everything and starts noticing what has been there all along. A sense that you are being nudged forward, not by anything outside you, but by the part of you that is finally awake enough to speak. That is why you are here. Not because someone sent you a sign, because your inner world reached a point where it could no longer ignore its own truth. Most people feel this moment as a kind of soft confusion, a quiet heaviness, a strange mixture of fear and curiosity. They feel it and step back. They tell themselves it is nothing. They return to their routines, their noise, their familiar patterns. But you did not step back. Something in you paused. Something in you listened. Something in you said, without words, that the way you have been living is no longer enough. This pause is the beginning of everything. There is a hidden tension inside you. A part of you that knows you have been carrying thoughts that do not belong to you anymore. The expectations of others. The version of yourself that you kept performing long after it stopped feeling true. The pressure to be stable, strong, certain, even when a deeper part of you wanted space to question everything. You have been holding both truths at once. The truth of who you were, and the truth of who you are becoming. That conflict has weight. You feel it in the way you wake up, in the way your attention drifts, in the way your heart tightens at random moments for reasons you cannot explain. Most people think this heaviness means they are failing. But here is what it really means. It means your inner system is trying to update itself. It means the old frame is too small. It means you are reaching the point where pretending becomes impossible. There is something else, a subtle realization forming beneath your thoughts. You may not have said it out loud, but you have felt it. The life you want is not far away. It is just incompatible with some of the things you still tolerate. It is not your dreams that are blocked. It is the parts of you that are still loyal to your old limits. For now, do not try to change anything. Do not try to force clarity. Do not try to force clarity. Simply notice one thing: the exact place in your inner world where tension rises when you think about your future. Not the story around it, not the meaning. Just the sensation that says, this part of my life is too small now. Hold your attention there for a moment, without fixing it. This is the doorway. This is where the shift begins. You did not click on this message by chance. You clicked on it because a deeper part of you is finally ready to see what it has been avoiding. The truth is simple. You are not here to repeat your old patterns. You are here because something in you is unlocking, quietly, steadily, without noise. This is the moment you receive the password. You have been moving through your days with a strange, dual awareness. On the surface, everything looks the same. You wake up the same way. You speak to the same people. You carry the same responsibilities. But underneath all that, something is shifting. You feel it in the small hesitations before you answer someone, in the way you pause before agreeing to something you would have accepted without thinking a while ago, in the quiet discomfort that rises when you imagine living the same way for too long. These are not random feelings, they are signals. Most people ignore these signals because they don't fit into the life they already built. They want certainty, not discomfort. They want predictable answers, not inner turbulence. But here's the real truth. The discomfort you feel is not a sign that something is going wrong. It is a sign that something inside you refuses to stay small. There is a moment in every person's life when the deeper self begins to reorganize everything. Not loudly, not dramatically. It happens in quiet ways. A thought you can't unthink, a truth you can't unsee, a sense that the old explanation no longer matches your internal experience. This is what is happening to you now. You are not losing control, you are gaining alignment. You think you are confused, but actually, you are becoming honest with yourself. You think you don't know what you want, but actually, you have outgrown what you once wanted. There is a quiet courage forming beneath your doubt, the kind of courage that doesn't shout. It simply refuses to keep living on autopilot. It refuses to shrink. It refuses to pretend. You have felt this courage in subtle moments. The times when you admitted a truth to yourself even when you wished you didn't have to face it. The moments when you realized that staying the same would cost you more than changing ever could. Most people feel terrified when they sense this internal threshold. They try to silence it. They fill their days with noise. They avoid the conversations that matter. They avoid themselves. But you didn't avoid it. You let this moment catch up to you. And because of that, something rare is happening. You are starting to see the difference between the life you perform and the life you actually feel. There is something else you need to understand. The part of you that keeps searching, questioning, and noticing is not broken. It is awake. It is the part that refuses to live a life built on habits that no longer match your truth. For years, you have been adjusting yourself to fit other people's comfort zones. You shaped your reactions, your tone, your decisions to avoid conflict or disappointment. You carried other people's expectations as if they were obligations. But your inner world is no longer willing to bend that way. That's why it feels like things are stretching. That's why it feels like you're standing between two versions of yourself. Most people mistake this stretch for emotional exhaustion. But here is what it really means. It means you are approaching a moment where the inner and outer cannot stay misaligned. It means you are finally ready to see what you've been postponing. It means the deeper part of you is stepping forward. You might not realize it yet, but the way you see yourself has been quietly evolving. You no longer tolerate the things you once allowed. You no longer believe the stories you once lived inside. You no longer feel at home in places where you once felt safe. This is not a loss, this is expansion. Growth feels like breaking until you understand what is actually being reshaped. You have carried a quiet truth inside you for a long time, a truth that kept knocking on your awareness, waiting for the moment when you wouldn't push it away. That moment is now. The truth is that the next version of your life requires something simple but difficult: authenticity. Not perfection, not performance. Authenticity. The willingness to hear your own inner voice even when it scares you. A shift is already happening. You sense it when you wake up. You sense it in the way your energy moves through the day. You sense it in the tension that rises when you imagine staying exactly where you are for too long. That tension is information. It's the internal signal that says, the path you've been on is not the path you're meant to stay on. And here is something most people never understand. The moment you notice this inner movement, the moment you acknowledge what you feel instead of pushing it away, you unlock something. A new layer of awareness, a new layer of personal truth, a new layer of direction that doesn't come from trying harder, but from listening deeper. This is the shift that brought you here, and it is only beginning. There is something inside you right now that is both fragile and powerful. Fragile because it is new, powerful because it is true. You can feel it when you slow down for even a moment. A quiet certainty beneath the doubt. A quiet clarity beneath the noise. A quiet knowing that the life you are heading toward does not look like the life you are leaving behind. Most people feel this transition and try to run back to what they know. They look for old reference points. old identities, old roles. They try to return to the version of themselves that felt simpler, even if that version no longer fits. But here is the truth. You cannot return to who you were because that person was built for a season that has ended. You think you lost stability, but actually you outgrew a structure that could no longer hold you. You think you are falling apart, but actually you are rearranging into something more aligned. There is a subtle intelligence inside you that has been guiding you long before you noticed it. It speaks through discomfort, through restlessness, through the moments where you hesitate before saying yes, through the instinct that tells you when something draws you in and when something drains you. You have been taught to ignore this inner signal, to override it with logic or habits or other people's approval. But now the signal is louder, and it is no longer willing to be dismissed. You are in a moment where everything you have been avoiding rises to the surface. The emotions you postponed, the choices you delayed, the truths you tried not to name. They all gather here because this is the point where you can no longer keep them separate. This is the point where the deeper part of you demands honesty. Most people think honesty is about words, but the real honesty is internal. It's the moment when you stop performing stability and admit what your inner world has known for a long time. The moment you say, without speaking it, I cannot continue this way. Something in me has changed. You are standing inside that moment now. And even though it feels uncomfortable, there is something profoundly right about it. Because for the first time in a long time, you are not trying to control the feeling. You are letting it speak. There is a truth forming inside you that has nothing to do with dramatic revelations. It is simpler. It is the truth that you deserve a life that feels like yours. Not one shaped by fear, not one shaped by survival, not one shaped by the expectations you inherited. The life that is calling you now comes from the deepest part of your awareness, the part that remembers what matters. You might feel overwhelmed, but that is because your inner world is rearranging itself. The thoughts that once felt distant are now clear. The things you once tolerated now feel heavy. The moments where you used to hold back now ask for courage. You are not breaking. You are aligning. Most people feel this alignment as a quiet ache, a softness in the chest, a pull they cannot define. They misinterpret it as weakness. But here is what it really means. It means your system is waking up. It means your attention is shifting from surviving to living. It means you are starting to see yourself clearly for the first time in a long time. There is a deeper pattern unfolding here. The things that used to distract you no longer work. The noise that once filled your mind no longer satisfies you. The life that once felt familiar now feels narrow. This is not a crisis. This is the natural tension of expansion. You have reached a point where your inner world refuses to hide behind old explanations. You can feel it in the way your thoughts slow down when you tell yourself the truth. You can feel it in the way your body responds when something finally feels right. You can feel it in the quiet shift that happens when you stop pretending. And here is what you need to understand. This shift is not asking you to build a new identity. It is asking you to release the old one, the one built around pleasing, the one built around fear, the one built around minimizing parts of yourself so no one would feel threatened. You no longer have the energy to carry that version of you. And that is a good sign. You are learning something essential. Transformation does not start when you change your life. It starts when you stop lying to yourself about the life you are in. That moment has already begun for you. You felt it the second you allowed yourself to admit what no longer feels true. You are closer to the new chapter than you think, and the reason you are here right now, hearing these words, is because something inside you already knows it. There is a moment in every transition when the old world loses its grip, but the new one has not fully arrived. That space in between can feel disorienting. You wake up and nothing is exactly wrong, but nothing fits the way it used to. You go through your day and something inside you feels slightly out of place, as if the rhythm of your life is half a step behind the rhythm of your inner truth. This is the phase where most people turn back. But you are not turning back. You are still here, still listening, still sensing the quiet shift that is pulling you forward. You may have noticed how certain things drain you faster than before, how conversations you once tolerated now feel heavy, how distractions that used to numb you no longer work. This is not a decline. This is sensitivity returning after years of being dulled out, a sign that your inner world is clearing out the noise so you can finally hear what it has been trying to say. You think you are losing your spark, but actually your system is rejecting everything that keeps you from being fully alive. You think something is wrong with your motivation, but actually you are being pulled away from paths that were never meant for you. This is the part of the shift no one teaches you about. The quiet detox, the emotional shedding, the realization that half of your exhaustion came from carrying versions of yourself that you had outgrown long ago. You can feel it now. The heaviness was not a flaw, it was a message. You are entering a stage where you can no longer ignore what drains you, and you can no longer resist what calls you. That calling is subtle. It shows up in the things that make you feel strangely alive, in the moments where your attention leans in before your mind has time to think, in the spaces where your sense of self expands instead of shrinks. These are the invisible markers of your next chapter. Most people think they need clarity before they move. But here's the truth. Clarity comes from movement. You do not need the entire path. You only need the next inner yes. You only need the small shift in your awareness that tells you, this feels true, this feels right, this feels like expansion. There is a deeper layer unfolding inside you, a layer that notices the exact moment when your energy rises and when it collapses, a layer that recognizes which environments allow you to breathe and which ones make you smaller. This awareness is not random. It is your internal compass recalibrating itself. You are learning to trust the signals you once ignored. You might feel lonely in this phase, but that loneliness is not emptiness. It is clarity. It is the absence of noise. It is the space where your real voice becomes audible. Think about it. The moments where you feel most alone are often the moments where you are closest to your truth. Most people interpret this loneliness as a sign that they are going backwards. But here is what it really means. It means the people, patterns, and identities that no longer fit you are falling away. It means your inner world is clearing the path before you take your next step. It means you are not being abandoned. You are being redirected. There is a quiet strength growing inside you now, the kind of strength that does not need to announce itself. It shows up in your ability to pause instead of react, to listen instead of escape, to feel instead of suppress. These are not small things. They are evidence that your inner world is stabilizing in a new direction, and there is something else you need to understand. The next chapter of your life will not arrive through force. It will arrive through alignment, through the courage to stop pretending that certain things still feel right, through the willingness to admit which parts of your life no longer support the person you are becoming. You may not see it clearly yet, but the shift is already forming around you. The old patterns feel heavier because they are fading. The new ones feel lighter because they are true. And the reason you keep coming back to messages like this is because a deeper part of you knows exactly where you are headed. This is not the end of anything. This is the beginning of who you were always meant to become. There is something quiet happening inside you right now, a shift you can feel but cannot fully define, a soft pull toward a version of yourself you have not lived yet, but somehow already recognize. You are not imagining it. This is what it feels like when the inner world begins to open, when the thoughts you used to silence rise without hesitation, when the truth you avoided stands in front of you and waits to be acknowledged. Most people think this moment arrives with certainty, but the real turning point arrives in uncertainty, in the pause before the choice, in the breath before the decision, in the quiet moment when your awareness expands just enough for you to see that the life you settled for is not the life you want anymore. That is where you are standing now. At the threshold of a new inner chapter, you think you are lost. But actually you are finally in the place where honesty becomes possible. You think you are falling behind. But actually, you are shedding everything that was slowing you down. You think you are breaking, but actually you are opening. There is a deeper intelligence in you that recognizes patterns long before your mind makes sense of them. It shows up as the discomfort you feel in rooms where you no longer belong, as the sudden clarity that hits you in moments where nothing special is happening, as the stillness that arrives in the middle of emotional noise. This awareness is not new. You simply have enough inner space now to hear it clearly. Most people spend their lives trying to fix themselves, trying to adjust their identity so they stay acceptable, predictable, familiar. But your shift does not come from fixing. It comes from remembering. Remembering the parts you abandoned to fit in. Remembering the instincts you silenced to avoid being misunderstood. Remembering the truth you buried just to stay in the safe version of your life. You are remembering now. And that remembering is awakening something powerful. You may feel a quiet intensity in your chest, a pull forward that does not have words yet. This is the moment where your inner world begins to rewrite itself. The moment where your attention finally aligns with your truth. Nothing external caused this. No sign, no message, no coincidence. This is coming from inside you. A signal that says, it is time to step away from the version of your life that keeps you small. Most people try to negotiate with this moment. They try to bring the old self into the new chapter. They try to hold on to comfort while reaching for expansion. But you cannot carry everything with you. And deep down, you already know what cannot come with you. You can feel it. The relationships that drain you, the habits that trap you, the stories that make you shrink. They no longer feel like home. And the things that do feel like home, they make your awareness expand before you even realize it. There is something essential you need to hear. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are simply reaching the moment where your inner world refuses to live a life that does not match your truth. This is not collapse. This is emergence. And here is the part most people never reach. The moment where you stop waiting for permission. The moment where you stop asking for reassurance. The moment where you understand that the only real guidance you need is the awareness you have been trying to ignore. That awareness is your password, the access key to the next chapter of your life. Before you move forward, pause here, not to think, not to analyze, but to notice one thing. The exact point inside you where you feel a faint sense of yes. The place where your inner world leans towards something without fear. Hold that spot for a moment. That is your direction. That is your signal. That is the part of you that already knows. If anything in this message touched you, whisper one word in the comments that captures what shifted inside you. Just one word that feels honest. You are not here by accident. You were ready for this. You were ready to receive what your deeper self has been trying to show you. And now the next step is simple. Tune in, recalibrate, shift your frequency.